You're listening to Happy Hour Hustle from the creative geniuses here at 834. We're funny, informative, and we swear. We talk all things marketing, communication, small business, plus we offer up hot takes on our industry and whatever else we feel like talking about. So, grab your drink of choice. It's always 5 o'clock at 834. And crank it up. Hey hustlers, we're talking to another one of our incredible fellows for the Women's Entrepreneurial Fellowship. Jenny Lashuay is the founder of BattleGR and BGR Event Center. She took her idea for fun, experience-based entertainment and turned it into a West Michigan staple. Now she's an indoor spot, a mobile party crew, and a full-on event center. We're talking to Jenny about what inspired her to start her business, what's creating momentum for her right now, and what comes next. Here's our conversation. Jenny, thank you so much for joining us on Happy Hour Hustle today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So our first question always is a fun one. It is, what is your drink of choice?
Ooh, I would say an amaretto sour.
Oh my gosh, I haven't had one of those in forever. Those are really good. Like a good sweet and sour situation.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, let's let people get to know you a little bit. How would you describe your business to someone who asks what it is that you do?
Well, I would say that we provide experiences and we help people make memories. So our goal is, in anything that we do, is to make sure that whatever kind of group you come here with, that you're making memories. And we do that through play. I think as adults, we have forgotten how to play.
Absolutely. It's so important. So important that you have some fun in your life.
Yes, exactly.
What originally inspired you to start your business?
Well, I'm crazy. So that's step one. So my husband told me 3 times, no, you should not start this business. No, you should not start this business. So, that just made me more determined.
That's why we don't listen to them.
Yeah, exactly. Really, we were trying to fill a niche. I mean, we had boys that were like 8 and 12 at the time. And there's really not much for adults to do with their 8 and 12-year-olds, unless you want to go to a trampoline. And I would have been the person that broke my ankle at a trampoline park. So
dangerous.
Yeah. So we kind of wanted to fill that void and do something different and fun. As well as like our mobile division would go to like youth groups and just have more engagement, more of an experience, that kind of thing. So that's a little bit of why we started it.
That's awesome. What's been the most energizing or exciting part about getting started and running the business?
I would say the customers. We have had people that have been with us since the beginning. And they always like to remind me where we came from and how awesome it is to see our growth and like what they love about it. They become raving fans, really. And you run into them in different places as your business grows and as their family grows or kids grow up, things like that. So it's just been really, really fun getting to know the community. You get to know, they become your extended family. And then, of course, I would say my employees are kind of a love-hate thing sometimes. But it has been really fun to be able to mentor and see these high school kids grow into young adults. We've had a lot of employees that have stayed with us 4+ years. And you've gotten to do life with them. And that's been really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. People who play together, stay together. So,
Yeah, exactly.
What's the thing you've been most proud of at this stage?
Ooh, that's a really tough one. Most proud of. I would say that we didn't quit or close our doors. We grew during COVID. So we signed our lease for 24,000 square feet 2 weeks before COVID, and then moved in October 1st. And in Michigan, nothing was allowed to be open at that time, really. So we didn't quit. We didn't close doors. There were many nights that were like, let's just throw the towel in. It would be so much easier. But we did it.
That's so great. What would you say makes obviously in the entertainment business, what would you say makes your business stand out or makes BattleGR special?
I would say the experience. We have a really good variety of different activities. We're in the middle of rebranding our indoor to BGR Event Center. So, you could have your wedding reception here and be able to do axe throwing and social games. We have a lot of companies that come to us because they're looking for something that everybody is happy with, which is never easy if you're trying to please everybody. But we have a nice variety of things so if you have people that are low mobility, we have something for them to do. If you have people that are more competitive, we have something for them to do. So I would say the variety of activities and the experience when they come through the door, we really work side by side with everybody to plan the event that they want it to be, not that they fit into our box, we fit into their box.
Absolutely. A lot of times business owners have a lot of stories about like nearly quitting or it being like really hard, but I want to talk about the good stuff right now. So has there been a recent moment that reminded you why you started your business or, why you love what you're doing, even though it can be tough, even though there are days that you're like, I want to rip my hair out?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes back to what I had said before, where we have past customers that become raving fans. We have had people reach out to us. It was specifically one customer that she lives in Kalamazoo. We did a mobile event at her house and got to know her and her family. And we have a sales position that's open right now. So she saw my post and she reached out and she's like, I really wasn't looking for anything, but I really want to help you because you have such a great business. And I think it would be fun to work with you and just help you continue to grow. And so that was one of those like, oh, people do like, they like us, like, I'm glad we have continued doing what we do, that kind of thing. Because
that is really cool.
Yeah. She's like, I'm one of your raving fans.
You don't always get that like one-on-one feedback. That's so life-giving.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
What's one thing that you would say is creating some momentum for your business right now? Something that's been happening either externally or internally that is really helping you move forward?
Well, we're adding a few new things, so that's really exciting. I also have decided that 2026, even though I might wake up to like crazy texts of things happening or people calling in or things like that, but I've decided that I'm not going to let that get me down and I'm going to keep moving forward. Like, we're not looking back. We are going to push through, and we have some really high sales goals for this year. And we're just going to work on them from day one. So I think a lot of it is just the mental game, and just not going to let the little things bother me anymore. Kind of back to that, like, let them theory, like control what you can control and let everything else follow where it may. Absolutely.
And what is that next big goal or big milestone, whether it be this year, what we've been talking about, the fellowship, that 10-year?
Yeah.
What is the goal?
So we have 2 years left of our lease here. So our next like big goal would be to get into a new space. And then kind of along those same lines, I would like to be more in the CEO role, in where I can like work from the beach if I want to, when it's gross up here in Michigan and disgusting. My kids will all be grown and they can fend for themselves, but I would like to be able to go, for a month or whatever and see water and sun.
That's a great goal, especially right now where it's so gray here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
What would you say is a skill that you've grown the most as being in the business owner role?
I would say, and as much as some of my leadership staff might say that this isn't this is wrong, but I've worked really hard not to say every single thought that comes into my brain, especially when there is like, what, like, how did we get here moments? Like, you're kidding, right? Like, I have worked really hard to not let everything that I think come out my mouth, and also giving grace a little bit more, as we're I feel like every generation has something about the next generation, right? And I feel like that sometimes I'm like, how did you get here? You don't know how to like wipe a table off or sweep the floor. Like, these are basic skills that you should know. Like, is your house really dirty, or do you just have a housekeeper? I don't know. But so I've worked really hard on, being more of that mentor and not like, what are we doing?
It's a hard skill to learn.
It is. And God has definitely like, we're gonna really test you with this one. And then maybe patience would be another one.
What would you say is a lesson that you learned that's made your business stronger, made you stronger? Sometimes lessons can come in the form of people. Sometimes they can come in the form of things you've overcome. But what would you say is a lesson that you've learned?
Gosh, there is so many lessons that I've learned over the years. I think the biggest one is that you need to have the right people in the right seats, and your leadership team that surrounds you needs to be the right people. If you don't have the right people there to support you, then it's really hard to grow or move forward. So I think that's been the biggest aha, especially in 2025. We really started, I thought we had hired the right people for the right seats as far as like leadership, supervisor, staff goes. And there were just some things that didn't work out. And it was really hard because you would go from like a leadership staff of like 5 and we went down to like 3. And it's hard to run a business with just 3 people that are catching all the balls. So.
No, absolutely. And then I do want to talk a little bit. Obviously, we're talking to you today as part of the Women's Entrepreneurial Fellowship. What would you say is a thing that's really resonated with you about the program so far, or something just about, being able to be in a room with other women that are doing the damn thing?
Yeah.
Right? What has that meant?
So the first session, we filled out that survey, and like, that you're burned out, but you don't realize that you really are. Like you're burned out, but you don't say it out loud, right? Because then you have to admit that you're burned out and you need to do something about it, right? So that was very eye-opening for me, because I sat at a table with, I don't think anybody at my table was at burnout level. They all had they were all above burnout, which is great. So, but it was very interesting, just that dynamic. And then I think there's just something to be said about, there's a ton of women's groups out there, but there's something to be said of getting women together that are like powerhouse, badass, boss babes that are there to get it done. And you can grow from each other. There's no like animosity or anything that's like icky. Like, we're all there to help each other, and we're not fighting each other, if that makes sense. We don't view each other as competitors or anything like that, if that makes sense.
Not pinning each other against each other like the world seems to want to force us all to do.
Yes, exactly.
Well, where can people go to learn more about you or keep up with what you're up to with your business?
So I'm on LinkedIn as Jenny with a Y Smith Lashuay. And then BGR Event Center, we're on LinkedIn, TikTok if you really want to see some funny ones, and Facebook, Instagram. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Debbie, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.